How do we avoid conflict in a relationship? Well, I would argue you shouldn't necessarily. Not all conflict is bad. Find out more about conflict solving techniques in today's video. Before we go any further today, I want you to check out the description, the link below for the high D, high I, high S, and high C personality style videos that we previously recorded. They're going to give you a nice background for the DISC methodology of human behavior, and we're going to be talking about high I's and D's and things like that today. So if you don't have that methodology down, stop, go watch those videos, come back here, and then we'll take care of you from there. So everyone's a unique blend of all four of these styles. You've heard me say that time and again from our other videos. And so some styles really embrace conflict and some don't. But what is conflict? Well, conflict is defined as a prolonged period of argument or prolonged period of disagreement between two people. So why do we disagree? Well, there's lots of reasons. We might have been raised in different cultures. We might have different values, different morals, different religious beliefs. But a lot of it has to come down to your personality, your temperament, how you're wired, how you see the world. We all have this unique view, this unique lens that we use to see the world, to give and receive information. And if we don't understand ourselves and understand others, we're never going to be able to adapt the way we communicate with one another, and that would significantly reduce conflict. So as a quick refresher, our high Ds are outgoing and task-oriented. They make up about 10% of the population, so a very, very small percentage of the population. They love challenge, they love being in charge, they speak very directly, so they embrace conflict quite easily. Then we have our high I's, our inspiring styles. They make up about 25 to 30% of the population, and they embrace fun and enjoyment of life. They're super enthusiastic and super optimistic. Then we have our reserved people-oriented. Those are our S styles, our supportive styles. They represent about 30 to 35% of the world's population. They are the largest percentage, and so they can't stand conflict. They hate upsetting people, they hate making people mad, and so they tend not to speak up and give their input if it's going to cause a problem between two or more people in a group. And then we have our high C's, and those are our 20 to 25% of the population, our cautious types, reserved and task-oriented. Never met a spreadsheet they didn't like, super analytical, very calculating, love numbers, love science, love facts. And so they're going to be more reserved, but they also embrace conflict because their facts will speak for themselves. So if we do the math, the people-oriented side of the equation is about 65% of the world's population, and then the task-oriented side is 35%. So 35% of the world embrace conflict and eat it up, especially high Ds. They like to argue with you just to argue. I mean, that's sick to me, but they thrive on those arguments. The people-oriented side, man, they don't want to have arguments, especially the S's. That biggest style, that 35%, they just want everyone to get along. And again, I'm a high IS blend. So as an S, I typically have the same response when my wife says, "What do you want for dinner?" or "Should we go out to eat?" or things like that. I will say, "Well, what do you want to do, sweetheart?" And that's like nails on a chalkboard for her because even though she's a task-oriented person and she embraces conflict a little bit easier, man, she just wants me to get involved. She wants me to be passionate about that. But she doesn't understand, or she used to not understand, that as a high S, I get my satisfaction from her satisfaction. Because again, S's are supportive. We want to please people. We want to say yes to people. So if she says, "Hey, would you like to go to Olive Garden?" I'd say, "Sure." But if she says, "Hey, where do you want to go out to eat?" I used to say, "I don't care." Well, it's not that I don't care, it's that I don't have a preference. And I would prefer for her to be happy. So if I said, "Hey, let's go get whatever, Olive Garden." "Well, I'm not in the mood for spaghetti tonight." Well, then why did you ask me where I wanted to go? And so she would get frustrated by that, but I'm frustrated with her. So I'm the one that said, "Let's go to Olive Garden." My wife says, "I'm not in the mood for spaghetti," or "I'm not in the mood for Italian tonight." And there's a conflict there. So I just default to, "Where do you want to go, sweetheart?" So even though that used to cause problems for her, now she knows that I'll pretty much eat anything on any menu anywhere. So if she makes that decision, she gets to go where she wants and eats the food that she likes. And I get to be happy because I'm with her and I get to watch her enjoy what she's doing. When we avoid conflict, we miss out on the conversations that have to take place for those major life-changing moments. Let's say it's about money, because couples fight about money all the time. When we talk about money and we don't speak up as a reserved and people-oriented person, as a high S, High S's really thrive on security. So if we're talking about someone changing a job and the high D is changing a job, then we want to know that, yes, there's going to be a steady stream of income coming in to take care of our family, because that's what's most important on the S's mind. But if they don't share that, then we miss it on the opportunity to really know, hey, this really concerns me, and what happens if you go commission only? And I don't know if I'll be okay with that, because I'll be really, really scared we wouldn't be able to provide for our kids. And so that's really, really important to them. But again, we have to share. And so as an S about money, you're going to be more secure. Those D's and C's, they're more of a risk taker, especially the D's. They'll say, oh, let's just start a business. We can do our own thing. And yes, that's going to take 2 to 3 years. And yes, we'll have to borrow money for a while. Oh my gosh, that's going to make the palm sweat of a high S. But again, the D is going to really say that's on their mind, because they embrace conflict. They really don't care what anyone else thinks. They're going to say what they need to say. The S's and the C's don't really operate like that. The I's, they just kind of go with the flow anyway. They're just in there to have a good time. So if we're trying to avoid conflict, the best way to avoid conflict is to meet in the middle. You have to understand yourself first. Are you more of an outgoing person? Are you more reserved? Are you more people-oriented? Are you more task? Because those impact how willing you are to have these conversations. And then number 2, understanding others. Yes, if I'm an outgoing, task-oriented spouse and my wife or my husband is a reserved and people-oriented spouse, I know that person is not going to want to share with me. Okay? It's just not natural for them. So I have to soften my voice. I have to really say, come on, sweetheart, tell me what's on your brain. Pa, tell me what's on your mind. Okay? Tell me what you're thinking. Because if I do that and I soften that message and I soften my tone of voice and really show that genuine interest, then they will open up. But again, I have to understand myself and how I'm communicating. If I'm really sharp and I'm really have those jagged edges and my message is very direct, I'm not going to get anywhere with a high I or a high S. So, do you understand yourself a little bit better after this video? I hope so. Do you understand how to avoid some conflict? I hope so. Again, soften that message if you're on that left side of the graph, those D's and C's. Sharpen that message if you're on that right side of the graph with those I's and S's. To really get to know and understand yourself better, I recommend you take one of our assessments. You can find those in the description below to the store page. There's all kinds of assessments. We've got them for kids, we've got them for teens, we've got them in all kinds of languages. Very inexpensive. We're just out there trying to get you to be self-aware, because it starts with self-awareness. Then you have to understand others. So if you really want to understand that significant other, have them take an assessment. We're going to understand how I operate, how you operate, and then we're going to be able to adapt our behavior, meet in the middle. And so once we do that, then our transportation is going to go taking our relationship up here, and we're going to be really in this high spot, which is probably above my camera, but it's still awesome, and we're really going to be high-powered relationship moving forward. See you in the next video.